In recent history, financial scams have taken the form of accounting fraud that cooks the books and hides losses to pyramid or Ponzi schemes for otherwise fictitious companies. So in this video, we are going to discuss Top 10 History's Financial Scams. The video is going to be amazing. Make sure to stick till the end. Before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 10. The Panic of 1792. In the early days of America, a pair of bankers named Alexander Malcolm and William Dewar attempted to buy up all the U.S. debt securities offered by the First Bank of the United States. Unfortunately, Malcolm and Dewar decided the best way to pay for these securities would be to, not actually pay for them. They cooked up a scheme to buy the debt securities using fake personal loans they gave to each other, and this had the effect of driving the price of securities way up. When their fake loans collapsed and their creditors came knocking, the prices for securities fell, sparking a bank run. Number 9. The Teapot Dome Scandal. This scandal might have a silly name, but it's the reason why President Warren G. Harding's is always listed high up on all those worst presidents ever clickbait articles. In 1922, Harding's Secretary of the Interior, Albert Bacon, leased the oil reserves at Teapot Dome oil field in Wyoming to an oil exec named Henry Ford Sinclair for much less than they were worth. In return, Sinclair showered Bacon with hundreds of thousands of dollars in gifts, bribes, and interest-free loans. Once the scheme was exposed, Bacon became the first ever cabinet member to go to prison. Number 8. The original Ponzi scheme. Charles Ponzi was an Italian con man who operated throughout the US and Canada in the early 20th century. In 1920, he became famous for the scheme that now bears his name. Essentially, Ponzi would ask people to invest in his business, promising them a 50% profit in 45 days. And for a while, it seemed to be working. All in all, the losses from Ponzi's scheme totaled $20 million, and he went to prison. But while Ponzi himself stopped, his scheme continued. Let's just say this won't be the last time you see a Ponzi scheme on this list. Number 7. Selling the Eiffel Tower. One of the greatest financial scams in history was carried out by the villain Victor Lustig, said Sata Ferrandi, founder and CEO of Source Capital Funding, otherwise known as the man who sold the Eiffel Tower twice. After a while of following Parisian news and not hearing anything about the tower scam, Lustig returned to Paris to enact his scheme once more. Unfortunately for Lustig, the second victim reported him to the authorities and he was forced to flee Paris for refuge. Number 6. Ivar Kreuger, the Match King. In the aftermath of World War I, Kreuger amassed an international monopoly, owning around 75% of match producers worldwide, earning him the nickname the Match King. But when the stock market crashed in 1929, some of the more innovative accounting practices that Kreuger had invented to keep his empire afloat were revealed, and they extended well beyond match sales. In short, Kreuger had made the businesses seem far more profitable than it actually was. In 1932, as his vast web of financial schemes collapsed, Kreuger shot himself in a Paris hotel room. These complex accounting frauds and vast global losses would not be seen again until the 2000s. Number 5. Barry Minkow and Zzzz Best Cleaners. In the 1980s, supposed whiz kid Barry Minkow started a carpet cleaning business called Zzzz Best Cleaners. The business grew quickly, mostly due to its successful insurance restoration work, which allowed it to secure some pretty big loans and investments. The company went public in 1986 and was in talks to purchase other large carpet cleaning companies to expand its reach even further, but in 1987, the whole thing came crashing down. Turns out, Zzzz Best Cleaners was actually a massive Ponzi scheme. While the business's carpet cleaning service was legitimate, its insurance restoration division was run by the ghost of Charles Ponzi, and the investors who'd put so much money into the company were left in a lurch. Number 4. Charles Keating and the Savings and Loan Scandal. In the US in the late 80s and early 90s, over 1,000 savings and loan associations failed, leaving massive losses and costing investors and taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. The poster child for this crisis was financier Charles Keating, who acquired Lincoln Savings and Loan in 1984 and promptly had them make a bunch of risky, but potentially more profitable, bets and investments. After years of mounting losses that were kept hidden from regulators, Lincoln Savings and Loan and the company that owned it went bankrupt in 1989. The firm was seized by the US government and Keating was sent to jail. Bondholders lost over $250 million, and the government ended up on the hook for $3.4 billion. Number 3. Albanian pyramid schemes. In the early 1990s, Albania was coming out of almost 50 years of a very harsh communist regime. The country was opening up to having different political parties, freedom of speech, religion, and even private property and investments, which up to then were not allowed. I was a teenager at the time, and all of this was new, exciting, and of course unknown. In the end, not only lost wealth, but also in lives, as almost 2,000 people died in the anti-government protests and chaos that followed when all the pyramid schemes collapsed in 1997. The government fell, the military and police force was almost non-existent. The military armories were looted and kids were walking down streets with AK-47s. As a certified financial planner, CFP, now I'm doing my part to promote financial literacy to all around the US, as I know firsthand probably the worst experience of financial illiteracy. Number 2. The Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. The financial crisis of 2008 was bad news for a lot of companies operating within the finance sphere. But no other company took it harder than Lehman Brothers, a 150-year-old investment bank that filed for Chapter 11 in 2008, citing $639 billion in assets and $619 billion in debt. Like many other institutions, Lehman Brothers had bet big on the housing market, and on subprime mortgages in particular. When the bottom fell out of the US housing market, Lehman Brothers looked down and realized that they were in for a long drop. It was later revealed that in the months before their bankruptcy filing, Lehman Brothers had tried to hide the extent of their losses by disguising $50 billion in subprime mortgage debt as $50 billion in cash. No one was ever prosecuted for this due to a lack of evidence. Number 1. Bernie Madoff. The thing about Ponzi schemes is that they constantly need new money coming in to sustain the illusion that they are a legitimate investment opportunity. Turn off the money spigot, and the whole thing dries up in a hurry. When the money stopped flowing during the financial crisis of 2008, it wasn't too long before the Ponzi scheme being run by financier Bernie Madoff, the largest one in US history, was revealed for all to see. Madoff committed an estimated $64 billion in fraud and was sentenced to over 150 years in prison. Robert Siciliano, CEO of IDT, HefSecurity.com told us, "The best way to avoid being taken by a Ponzi scheme is to make an effort to understand how the system is supposed to work." Let us know your opinion in the comments section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more interesting videos. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.